Power Review, where today we're going to be going over NES Remix. NES Remix is a game that's hard to put a grade on. On one hand, you have 16 nostalgia-filled NES games, morphed into over 200 WarioWare-like challenges, but on the other hand, half of them are NES launch games, and let's face it, the test of time has been very cruel to them. But the interesting thing is that despite these bad game choices, playing them in smaller chunks actually makes them a lot more fun. So let me show you how the game is structured. These challenges are split into channel-like columns, and each game in the collection has an assortment of missions to play. After a brief and optional tutorial, you're given the first challenge to complete in that game. Now these challenges start off simple enough with things like jumping over barrels in Donkey Kong or breaking blocks in Ice Climbers, to more complicated things like beating a Zelda boss or... oh, that's not happening. Some of them are also longer than others and have a single objective, while others are split into small parts with a similar overall theme. Either way, they usually take around a minute to complete, and after you beat them, you're graded on how fast you completed the level. Now this is where the replay value really starts to shine. You see, NES Remix has the same 3-star system seen in mobile games like Cut the Rope or Angry Birds. For some of these games, it's really easy to get 3 stars in the first or second shot, but for others, you're gonna lose your hearts and have to continue constantly, which means you'll only get 1 star for that level. But despite that, if you're up for the challenge, there's the coveted triple rainbow star if you manage to beat it near perfectly. Now thanks to this, I'll be going back to these games for a long time, and what they unlock makes it all worth it too. Along with the regular minigames, there's also 50 remixed levels that try to switch up the original gameplay. They can range from little things such as disappearing backgrounds or sprite changes, to cooler things like a Limbo-esque Mario stage or zoomed out screens. But unfortunately, this is also where the game's faults begin to show. You see, the game never feels like it reaches its full potential. At all. Out of the 50 remix stages, only a handful of them are actually memorable, and they barely change up the gameplay. And as much as I hate talking about illegal stuff in reviews, let's face it, there's tons of hacks for these games out there. And after all these years, finally seeing an official Nintendo game trying this out for themselves, it's super disappointing that they didn't take advantage of this. I mean, they are neat and fun while they last, but most designs just reek of laziness. Another big problem, as I said before, is the game choice. Now I understand another point to this game to try to get some virtual console sales, and I know they're restrained to what's on the system right now, but come on, Donkey Kong Jr., Golf, Urban Champion? They're still re-releasing that game? I mean, they aren't bad games by any means, but even by NES standards, the lack of music, gameplay, and skill means they've aged as well as late Atari games. After researching what NES games are on Wii U right now, why don't we get games like Punch-Out or Kid Icarus or Metroid? I mean, they came out like a year or two after launch, so I really don't see the big deal. And just a thought, I think this could have been the perfect time to use and release Super Mario Bros. 3, since this game gives me off some vibes of the Wizard. Yeah, I mean, can dream. But anyway, the cool thing about them is that the game somehow makes these fun. While playing NES Golf these days may be an exercise in sanity, especially with the superior NES Open Tournament Golf, playing it in really small sessions with a given objective makes it a lot more tolerable. Not to mention it lets people experience the best parts of the game without all that old school frustration. But despite that, the game choice is still pretty bland, and if they make a sequel, which is very likely seeing the developers Indie Zero made 2 sequels to the Retro Game Challenge series, I'd really want games from the later NES years. To sum it all up, I still had a good amount of fun with this game. I really enjoyed the new take on my favorite NES games like Mario, Zelda, and Wrecking Crew, and though not as good as I'd hoped, the remix levels are still good fun. There's even 100 stickers to unlock for Miiverse as well, that may or may not have gotten me banned already, and incentivize you even more to play often. Despite this steep $15 price tag, I still got a good 10 hours of fun from this game, and got to experience artifacts from the NES library in a whole new life. All in all, I give NES Remix a check and a good. If you're a fan of old school games or have the interest of getting into old school games, then I wholeheartedly recommend getting this game. But for everyone else, the game choices may be a little too archaic for everyone to enjoy, so be sure to proceed with caution. So, this is the 7th time Nintendo's released Urban Champion. The game's great. The graphics are nice, the fighting system's deep. It's... All in all, I give